Mornings with Impact on the new Party 105, and I got a special guest on the line right now. David Seth Cohen is an award-winning filmmaker, a photographer, a designer, and also an on-air talent. He's also a Long Islander, and he is currently working on a new documentary called Finding Sandler about another famous Long Islander, and we're going to talk about it. Welcome to the show, David.
Hey, how's it going, DJ? Good to talk to you today.
How are you? Now, let's start with your Long Island roots. Where are you from?
So I grew up in Plainview. I lived in Great Neck, and I also lived in Massapequa Park.
Okay, so you covered all the bases on Long Island.
Yeah, I pretty much the middle, the north, and the south.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Speaking of covering all bases, I checked out your website, and you offer a bunch of services. Tell us about yourself and what you offer to your client.
Yeah, well, thanks for asking first off, and for even researching me. So I basically do film production, video production, and photography. I do some web design and logo design as well for graphics and stuff like that. A lot of my clients, I do commercials for them, training videos. A lot of things I do are gala and fundraising films. I've helped raise over $50 million through film with a variety of organizations, including the American Heart Association, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Hagedorn Little Village School, St. Peter's Boys High School, St. Francis Prep, and a whole bunch of others. It's a really rewarding thing when you're doing that for those kind of organizations as well. So, I've basically flown around the world to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. That's an impressive resume. And now you're working on the new documentary, Finding Sandler. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I've been working on Finding Sandler now actually for 15 years. It's a really long passion project. The quick story is in 1998, I worked on the film Big Daddy with Adam Sandler. Okay. And growing up, Adam Sandler was a hero of mine. He was someone I really admired. And the fact that I got to work on the film alone was huge for me. And so I worked for the costume designer. And the night of the Waterboy premiere, she had asked me to go deliver clothing to Adam Sandler's apartment. I was also supposed to drop this girl off who was a costume PA in my department. And so I drove with her to Sandler's building. I go in, I was told, just give it to the doorman. So I give the wardrobe to the doorman, and, he hands it back to me, and he goes, hey, just bring it up to Adam. So I said, okay, no problem. But in my head, I'm like, okay, I have this woman in the car waiting for me. All right, so hopefully this will be quick. So I go up to Sandler's apartment. I knock on the door. From behind the door, I hear, who is it? What do you want? Started yelling at me. You know how he yells in this movie?
In that voice, yeah.
Yeah, so he's yelling out the door, obviously messing around with me. And he opens the door. He's got this huge smile on his face. And he's like, hey, man, you want to come in and have a drink? And I was like, bro, a couple things going through my head at that time. He's your hero. Hang out. Do it. You got to stay, You got to hang out with this guy. You could learn so much. You could ask questions. You could, learn about him and get some advice. And then the other part of me was like, you got Autumn in the car. You got to drive her home. If you don't, your boss will kill you. And this was 1998. So I didn't have a cell phone. I was a poor 22-year-old kid. I had no way of reaching her unless I went outside the building. And I told him I couldn't stay. And I left. And I never had the chance to hang out with him again.
Oh.
So, yeah. So since 1998, that kind of was, bugging me. It was on my mind. Because, look, man, you're a DJ, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know who your idol is or who you've always wanted to meet. Maybe you have met them before. But what if you had, I always equate it to, somebody that's in, computers and technology, getting an opportunity to hang out with, Steve Jobs and not hanging out with the guy,
well, I got to be honest with you. If it was me, Autumn would have been walking home.
It's funny that you say that because, when I got home that night, I told my parents what happened. And my mom's like, you're such an idiot. You should have left her in the car.
She said it in the Adam Sandler voice. You're an idiot.
Yeah. But what's pretty funny is, in the actual film, I get back in touch with this girl, Autumn. Okay. And she says, you did the right thing.
Oh, of course she would say that.
You did your job. And I always kind of looked at it like that. I did my job. I did my job. Although, of course, there was that overlying kind of thing, you're such a moron, dude. What the heck is wrong with you? If you fast forward now, to 2006, I'm 20. I had just turned 30. It was kind of like this moment where it was I started thinking about it even more. Would my life be any different if I got the chance to hang out with Sandler? What kind of advice could he have given me? Or, would it have just, been a satisfaction knowing that I had a chance to meet with my hero and hang out with him. I got to do something about this, or it's just going to go on bugging me for the rest of my life. And at the time, not only was I producer at this TV station, but I also had a small production company where, like, I shot a lot of sporting events around Long Island for high school kids and did recruiting videos and stuff like that. So I had a bunch of cameras, and I had a business partner at the time, and yeah, it was like, I literally woke up, it was maybe like 6 o'clock in the morning, if that. And I called my business partner, who was completely sleeping. He answers like, hello. And I'm like, hey, dude, it's Dave. I just woke up. I had this dream. I want to make a movie. It's going to be called Finding Sandler, and I want to go on a quest to find Adam and have the drink I passed up back in 1998. He goes, we talk about this later, man? I'm still sleeping. I was like, okay. So I go into the TV station, all amped up, and I go in and I start talking to my associate producer, this guy that works with me, and I started telling him what I wanted to do. He's like, oh, that's awesome, man. I'm in. Can I help? I was like, okay. And then I told the senior executive producer of the station, who was a mentor to me, and he goes, I don't like it. I love it. I'm in. What can I do to help? And then all of a sudden, people wanted to help me, and we started just shooting and making a movie. And like I said, 15 years later, the film is ready to go. We're submitting to festivals and still trying to get Adam to have that drink.
Well, I heard Adam's working on his own documentary called Finding IHOP.
Yeah, I think that documentary was actually complete. He already went there and found his milkshake.
Yeah, it ended with the milkshake.
Yeah, the actual milkshake, exactly. The cool thing about this film, I think, and I think that a lot of people can potentially relate to it in some way, hopefully. Look, it's about rewriting a wrong that you made in your life, or that you felt like you made in your life. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy thing is, it's not really about Adam Sandler. I mean, there's definitely, Adam Sandler stuff in there, but it really follows my quest and my journey to find him and recapture this, moment in my life that I felt was a wrong in my mind. And in the end, ultimately, I found myself, in this process.
Awesome.
I learned really what's important. It's funny because, like, when I started, I thought I needed to have this drink with my hero to make my dream come true, right? But in the end, I got what I really needed. I always wanted to make a movie, and this was a movie that I made, and I had people in my life who supported me, family, friends, and a bunch of other people that I met on my quest that all wanted to jump in. And, at the end of the day, man, I thank Adam Sandler, obviously, because of the fact that he was the inspiration to this. And, so far we haven't had the drink. But
I'm sure it's coming. I'm sure that drink is coming sooner than you think. I'm definitely looking forward to checking out your documentary. Let our listeners know how they can follow everything you're doing.
Yeah, so the website for the movie is findingsandler.com. The film is actually, like I said before, being submitted to film festivals right now. And I'm actually also in conversation with a few different distributors who are taking a look at the project and are interested in it. Right now, we'll have ultimately some press releases and stuff when the film gets somewhere or if it gets distributed. But for now, they can kind of keep up on either Facebook. There's a Finding Sandler page on Facebook, or, like I said, check the website from time to time. We really need to update it.
Well, I wish you nothing but success with the film, and I also hope that you get to meet Adam Sandler. And call me when you do, and I'll come hang out with you guys.
No, that would be really great, man. Seriously, it was a pleasure talking to you, man.
You too.
You're a lot of fun, and thanks again for having me on the show. And,
no problem at all.
Hopefully we get to do this again later on after the film's distributed.
Exactly. Once again, David Seth Cohen, thank you for joining us here on the show. Take care.
Thank you.
All right.